Right, YouTube land, thank you for tuning into another video. Now, my last Thunderace video was actually rather unsuspectingly rather popular, so I thought that I would go about my Thunderace again and show you actually what I've done with it. It's May, it's the year after the last Thunderace video. As you can see, I've still got the thing, so I'm going to do a little video, do a little bit of a tour, show you what I've done to her over the years. Well, first thing to note is, even though I've had her 14 years, she was written off back in 2017 actually, due to an accident. Bike was rendered beyond economical to repair, but for a bit of savvy and stuff, I did put her back on the road. So starting off at the front here, I do have this tinted MRA screen. MRA screen. This bike has seen a number of screens, mostly those Airblade ones that you see on eBay, and even a Givey one, which proved to be rather fragile, actually, surprisingly. But this MRA one is actually rather good, and as can be seen, I've got traditional period correct. I say period correct. Well, it is period correct. The old names sticker on the side of the screen. Moving into the cockpit, as you can see, the handlebars are different, the clip-ons are different straight away. Now these are some cheap Chinese ones that I bought off eBay, which were actually specifically for a CBR 600RR, I believe, because of the fork diameter. So they do give a rise of about 30mm, I believe, so that made holding on to the Thunderace a little bit easier, because I found as I got older the Thunderace bars were a little bit low, so I fitted these. I took a punt on these. They were like 30 odd quid delivered to my door from eBay, so I thought I'd take a punt, and they've been on there pretty much since 2015, something like that. They required a bit of fitting though, because there's no locating lugs, and I did have to jingle jangle and fabricate a brake master fluid reservoir there mount to fit on the top yoke, because I say they do intrude a little bit where the old one sits. But wait, I have factory standard Yamaha bar ends fitted. How did you manage that? Well, I bored out the handlebar to 18mm, I think, because Thunderace owners will know that the bar ends are screw on, and then I took the original bar end and I drilled a hole all the way through it. Not only did I drill a hole all the way through it, I even milled a bigger hexagon in there. I think that's a 12mm hexagon for a 12mm Allen key. So if need be, these original bar ends can be screwed back onto the original clip-ons. Clear indicator lenses fitted front and rear. They were the Clear Alternatives brand, but after the accident I found that High Level do these ones, so they were cheaper to buy. Brake discs are fitted with the Pro Bolt titanium disc bolts there, much better than the cheese ones that Yamaha supply. And also what I also did was I masked up basically the disc and basically sprayed these rotors with some black PJ1 just to neaten them up a bit. Also went over the wheel with a file and got rid of all the casting marks in the wheel, because as you know, Yamaha like to leave a seam line here from the casting. That's all been got rid of with a file, and I resprayed the wheels in Star Silver. I did that via aerosol from RS Paints, I think it was. A set of Goodridge's finest hoses adorning the front there. We can see here that I've redone the belly pan with the heat shielding. I got that from Demon Tweaks, I think, and I just took the belly pan off and cut a load of new heat shielding back on there, because the other stuff was coming off. I was also a bit of a sado and infilled the Yamaha on the clutch cover. That was in red by, I think it was a Humbrol colour, I think. Quite possibly the same colour that I used to paint in this Brembo logo on the rear master cylinder. As we can see here, I've still got the original downpipe manifold set, so that has the X-up valve in there. So although I do have the original downpipe set in the bike with the X-up valve in there, I do remember buying a it's got a little pulley wheel on the flapper valve at the bottom there. I do remember buying another one from some guy on the X-up forum, I think. He was making some like a little flame cut stainless item, because the original steel one does rot away, as you could probably imagine. So I bought a stainless one off some guy on the X-Up forum, I think it was, and fitted that. I am also running Venhill stainless steel cables as well, from the valve to the motor underneath the tank. As we can see here, I've got an MTC exhausts can fitted on the rear. This is a titanium number, and I think just kind of matches the aesthetic of the bike. A little bit contemporary, but not too in your face, and also goes with the flavour of the bike as well, I think. Now, I know there are a lot of MTC can haters out there, but I had a blue flame on my Thundercat many years ago, and I know that the guy who formed MTC was an ex-Blue Flame employee. The can has been on there since 2010 and has given me absolutely no trouble whatsoever, so make of that what you will. Holding said can up in the air, as you can see, is this bracket here, the exhaust hanger, which does look suspiciously like an original Yamaha foot peg hanger. Now, it actually is. Now, so I did buy a second-hand foot peg hanger from eBay, and I did actually milled the foot peg bit off and just kind of dressed it in and polished it in. So looking back, it does actually look rather factory and actually rather nice. Once again, we can see a Goodrich hose fitted to the rear there. Sort of braided hoses all the way around, just for the extra bit of stopping power, as if it needed it in the first place. We also have a wavy disc on the rear. Now, a lot of people hate wavy discs. I'm a bit sort of you know, I've got no opinion either way, but they are cheaper than the standard Yamaha item, that's for certain. This particular one was about 60 quid, I think, or 80 quid or something. I think it was a braking one that I bought back in 2011 maybe. And as you can see there, that too has the Pro Bolt titanium bolts holding it on. And I've infilled it again with black to match the front. So just kind of like tidies things up and makes things a bit universal. And again, you probably can't see, but I've also taken the casting marks out of the rim again with a file. So that's all done. And then resprayed them again in Star Silver. As you can see here, the rear under tray has taken a bit of a trim. Now, it was down to about here when I bought the bike, but it looked absolutely horrendous. And I did kind of have to neaten things up and make it a bit flush with a bit of judicious sort of like hand rubbing, no jokes please, but it was a mess, and it just did actually look like someone had attacked it with an angle grinder. So I had to cut it up a bit extra just to save it, really. As you can see, we've got the obligatory clear indicator lens on the rear here as well. Also, one of the biggest features on my bike is, if I can zoom in here and if the light will let me, we have, as you can see by the turquoise spring and the word Nitron on the top of the shock there. There we go. Didn't have it in shot then. We have a Nitron shock on the rear. Now, as you know, Yamaha shocks do tend to lose their boing. So that the original one went in the bin, and I fitted this lovely Nitron one, which has been on there about 10 years now, and is a great bit of kit. It feels lovely, it looks nice in the box, it looks even better on the bike. And at the rear here, you can see a clear lens fitted to the rear tail light. Now that actually is an LED. It's an LED rear light, so that's kind of cool. Load of LEDs in there, it does light up. It's very bright. So again, matching the clear indicator lenses, we have the clear rear tail light there. Not much is remembered about where that tail light came from. I got it on eBay, I believe, back in 2010 or 2011. I think it may have came from France, but that's all really I can tell you, to be honest. Have a look yourselves and see what you can find. Now at the rear, when I bought the bike, it did have a plastic carbon effect rear hugger fitted to the back, obviously. Now it was a hideous thing. I think it was like a Pyramid Plastics one or a Skid Marks one. I can't be sure. It looks more like Pyramid Plastics to me, but it was awful. It was it didn't look nice. It didn't even look real. I remember back in the 90s when plastic looked carbon, or carbon looked plastic even, was all the rage amongst paupers out there. But you could always tell the difference, and it never looked very good, did it? So that was removed, and I did manage to find, purely by accident, this lovely carbon item for my bike. Again, I don't remember who was selling it or who the manufacturer is. It may have been it may have been like an old one from NWS or something that someone had bought and was selling on, but again, I don't remember. I don't think it's an art item. It most likely NWS or something like that, but again, like I say, I can't be sure. But it does look a lot better than the carbon look plastic thing that was attached. Now, carrying on with the theme with the brakes, with the Goodrich hoses, as you can see here we have the clutch master cylinder, and that does have a Goodrich hose attached to it also. So yeah, that gets rid of the hideous rubber hose thing, and just eliminates any kind of flex in the hose that has happened over the years. Given the era from which this bike originates, basically the 90s, we do have our period correct looking tank pad there on the rear. You can get these on eBay or wherever. This is just a plain black one, as you can see. Nothing special about it, but yeah, no fancy shapes or anything like that, just your traditional standard looking Motrax spiny looking tank pad there. It's not Motrax ones, by the way, it's just a generic thing from eBay, I think. Now, I appreciate that eBay can suck for a lot of online shop manufacturers or online shop owners for actual bike shops, but things change now. If I wanted that tank pad, I'd have to go around looking at bloody J&S and Infinity and stuff like that, and just scour the shops for a tank pad, and none of those branches are actually near me, so I just spend half a day looking for a tank pad, or just go on eBay and click on it and add to basket. Job done for £6. Now, earlier on in the video, I did mention that the bike had been written off some years ago due to an accident, incident with some moron, but we won't talk about that right now. So the bike was written off. As you can see, we've got the stickers here. Now we've got the Aero Super Sport and the fade out stripe at the rear there, just underneath the sort of like the ramjet vent thing, I suppose you could call it. I don't really know, I'm just talking a load of bollocks. Oh yeah, I have fitted a seat cowl as well. I bought that on eBay. It was a right mess. Someone had painted it with someone painted it in red, not red, sorry, that's the colour that's in front of us now. Someone had painted it white and yellow with a really bad looking 46 on it, and when I was rubbing it down, it did feel like sort of like a gel paint from a boat or something. Like someone had painted it with anti-fouling paint. But yeah, it came up nice, and there we go, that's all we need to know. Right, so yes, so looking at the graphics, we have the Yamaha sticker on the tank as well, in traditional 90s Yamaha font, and the YZF Thunderace sticker on the silver panels. Right, so they all came from Graham down at the Imageworks, or up at the Imageworks actually, from where I am. So he was rather helpful, and I had a couple of people involved in the paint job as well. One turned out better than the other. If you look at it in the sunshine, I'm sure you can pick it up in this sunlight, the tank is a slight different shade to the rest of the bike, basically the back of the bike. Now this is because... So the difference in paint shade is because those parts were painted in two different places. Now the tank was given to a chap in Southampton called Roosters Paintwork, and he had like a little workshop down by the river Hamble. Is it the Hamble? The one that runs, the main one, what's it called? I don't know, I can't remember, not very good with rivers in Southampton. What's the big one that runs through Southampton? Whatever. Anyway, he had a little quayside workshop down there, and he painted the tank in exchange for a bottle of whiskey or whatever it was. No, he charged a fair amount. It wasn't a fair amount. It was a fair amount, as in it was fair. But he did a bloody good job. Now he did state that he had to lay the silver down before he put the red. That's how the Yamaha paint code worked or something. So he did that. And I tell a lie, a moment ago I said the Yamaha sticker on the tank was a sticker. It is not, it is paint. It was a stencil I required, sorry. It was a stencil I required for the tank. So yes, the silver in the Yamaha is actually paint. But yes, he had to lay the silver down first and then put the red on the top. That was right. Now, the guy who did the rest of the colouring on the front cowl and the tail unit, seat unit, etc., I don't believe he laid the silver down first. So he just did the red, and that's why it doesn't pop doesn't pop out as much as the tank does. If we can just go back to the that little lot again, you can see what I mean. Well, there's no need to go back to the bike, get too near to it. You can see it from here. You can see that the tank just pops lovely with that gorgeous red, and the seat unit just looks a little bit dull in comparison. Now moving in here, now I said the bike was written off. Now moving here to the right hand side of the bike, you can see a rub mark on the belly pan. That was part of the incident. I didn't actually have the belly pan resprayed after the incident, and there is a reason for that, and that was posterity, really, because of the accident. Why would you do that, I hear you ask? Well, the answer is, and honest, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's more of a reminder than anything else, because the accident happened about a week or two after my mum's funeral. So that is why A, I left the belly pan like it, and B, why I put it back on the road, if you want an answer to that question. I also have here this nice graze on the clutch master cylinder there, or fluid reservoir, or it is the master cylinder, isn't it? Yes, sorry, I'm forgetting my own shit. So yes, we have this nice graze here on the clutch master cylinder lid. That, again, is from the accident where my bike was pushed 20 feet into a car park. Yeah, so I thought I'd leave that there. As you may be able to see, although I do have the same handlebars, now during the incident the handlebar on the left was bent, but the actual black mounting bit was fine. So I kept that. Rather than buying a whole new set of handlebars from eBay, from China, they may not have existed anymore. I made this, the actual clip-on bar bit was bit of bar nicked from work, turned up on a lathe. Bob is your uncle, job done. Cost me nothing. I almost forgot this front fender. Now, I put that on about a month before the accident, many years ago. So we have this grazing here. That never used to be there. I did have one on here before, but that was actually one that came off of my Thundercat from many, many years ago, which I bought at the NEC back in 2001. I think it was an art hugger, an art fender. So I bought it, stuck on my Thundercat. Years later, I sold the Thundercat, took the hugger off, took the fender off, then put it on this a few years later when I got the Thunderace. Now that was all yellowed and kind of had it, so I bought this nice fresh one off of eBay again. It does look like the art item, but I didn't buy it off art because they no longer exist. But then I had the accident, and the moron just basically damaged all the lacquer. Now I've tried to rub it down and fill it with lacquer, but I'm not a painter by trade, so it looks a bit misty, looks a bit crap. But again, I kept it there just as a reminder kind of thing. You know, shit can happen any time. I was on my way home from work at the time. A quick view underneath the headlight fairing here on the nose fairing. Now there was a massive split in here. This is the original nose fairing, by the way. There was a massive crack in this here. Now I did repair that with, I think it's Loctite 3092 it's called, and it's like a 2-part resin in like an injectory tube thing. Now that was epic. It was absolutely magical in repairing this fairing, because I had to do it in several places. So I did it on this bike. It was resprayed and it's not been a problem since. There's no glue join or anything, but yeah, fantastic glue if you can find it. 3092 by Loctite. Brilliant stuff, brilliant for plastics and ABS and whatnot. I highly recommend it. And last but not least, I have a pair of Osram night breaker bulbs in the front light assembly, so they help in the darker hours, should we say. So yeah, that is my Thunderace. That is all the things I've done to it over the years. I hope you just enjoyed this little ditty of a video. Again, I've got, as I've probably mentioned in the other video, I've got this and another video I'm working on at the same time, so I don't know which one's going to turn up first. But yes, if you like my Thunderace or you've got any comments or recommendations, leave a comment down below in the comment section, that'd be great. And if you want to press that button up there, that'd be great, to subscribe and all that shit. You know the story, that's why you're here. So yeah, yeah, like I say, my last Thunderace video was kind of popular, more popular than I thought it was going to be. They're actually more of a popular bike than I originally thought they were going to be. This was going to be a stopgap bike for me, and that was in 2010. It's now 2024, so I've kept it for a number of years. And they've been called many a thing, the old Thunderace. Pieces of shit, slab-sided lard arse, a relic by someone from my Facebook. But hey ho, but like you say, or like I say, hey, if you've ridden one, they're a great hoot to ride. Like I said before in my other Thunderace video, I do ponder getting rid of it, but every time I take it out, I'm like, oh, this is great fun. So rewarding. It can be hard work to ride, but also rewarding to ride. And again, if I bought a newer bike, I'd just ride the same roads at the same speed. So I might as well just carry on with this thing, I guess. But yeah, thanks for watching, and like I say, leave a comment or subscribe, leave a comment, or the other way around. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now. All that luck. Laters.